Hi, my name's Daryl, and here's your Jeep news for December 14th. So in our first news story, this is about the Jeep 4xe recall 95B that was issued last Saturday. Now some Jeep dealers, they still aren't aware of this, so customers are calling them and they kind of don't think that there's a fix in place, but there is a fix in place. And what's really important for you to understand is as part of this fix, there's a test drive that goes along with it. So there's a couple of things that you should do as a customer just to make sure that that takes place. First thing is you don't want to charge your battery. So you shouldn't have been charging your battery in the first place, but it should be somewhere, 1 or 2% or so. So when you bring your Jeep to the dealership, take note of that percentage, because one of the first things that they're supposed to do is upgrade the PCM software, and then they're supposed to charge the battery up to 75%. The other thing that you're going to want to do is take note of your odometer, because there is a test drive that goes along with the procedure, and here's kind of what they need to do. So there's a series of accelerations, and then they need to coast down to a certain speed. Now this is going to take them a little while to do, depending on the driving conditions and what kind of roads that they have access to. But if your car isn't driven at all and they give it back to you, it's pretty obvious that they didn't do the procedure. Now, a lot of customers are saying that they're not actually doing the procedure, and after they get their car back, they get a check engine light. And the reason that's happening is because after they've updated the software, it's going to check for that particular condition, and if it notices it, it's going to come up with a check engine light. So yeah, do yourself a favor and just kind of make sure that the dealer does what they're supposed to do. Be an informed customer, because you really don't want to get the car back and have it do a check engine light and then have to bring it back to the dealer again. That would be really frustrating. Now, I got this information from the Jeep 4xe fans group, and I had mentioned this group before. This is a group that's been around since the 4xe, really, even before it was released. And they really get great information about the 4xe. So as an owner, just to know everything there is to know about the 4xe, you can subscribe to this group and get all that information. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that you check out this group. So our next news story has to do with Jeep Wrangler and Gladiator Production, but it takes us a while to get there, so just stay with me for a second. So the Ram Dakota was announced a while ago, and it's going to be a small pickup truck, and it's going to compete with the Ford Maverick. It's little kind of small, I guess, unibody pickup trucks. There's been a lot of mystery around it. Everybody's wondering what kind of frame it's going to use and whether it's going to be a unibody or a body-on-frame kind of a pickup truck. TK's Garage, he created a video and he has a lot of insider information at Stellantis. So he was the one that told us about Tim Kuniskis getting phone calls from Stellantis and having talks. So he kind of has really an inside track to what's going on. And he did a video about Ram and Stellantis making the Dakota pickup truck at the Toledo Assembly plant. So if you don't know, the Toledo Assembly plant makes both Jeep Gladiators and Jeep Wranglers. Now, there is a north plant and a south plant, and the south plant is the one that makes the Jeep Gladiator. Well, supposedly, they want to have the Dakota and the Gladiator being made on the same assembly line at that south plant. So they are in the process, not yet, but they're going to be retooling that south plant so that that can happen. So Gladiator production is actually going to move from the south plant to the north plant and be made side by side with the Wrangler. So obviously there's probably going to be a little bit of a slowdown in production in both the Jeep Wrangler and the Jeep Gladiator, but eventually the Gladiator will then move back to that south plant, and the workers that lost a shift, because they cut production in the Gladiator about a month ago, and the assembly workers, they lost a shift, they'll go back probably to full production, which is great for the Toledo plant. Now, what isn't clear now is if both the Gladiator and the Dakota are going to be made on that same line. Seems to me likely that they're going to be using the same frame. likely that body on frame that the Gladiator uses. So yeah, very interesting. And I think that's going to give that Dakota a heads up in between the Ford Maverick, because the Ford Maverick is a unibody truck. And, you know, you really want a pickup truck to be body on frame, to do the, you know, to be able to tow and to be a true pickup truck, to have, you know, the payload that you really want and to have the axles that you want in order to do pickup kinds of things. So yeah, it's almost like they could be making kind of their own line of pickup trucks somewhere in between, like the Maverick and maybe the Ranger, or maybe it's going to compete more against the Ranger than the Maverick. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with that Dakota pickup truck. So in our next news story, let's talk about the Jeep Recon EV. So this is Jeep's off-road SUV, and it's all electric, so it's an EV. I kinda, sorta don't agree with that. I think most off-roaders don't want an EV. They really want something that is either a hybrid or, better yet, a range extender kind of EV truck. But Jeep right now is releasing this. And I gotta say, the styling and the boxy look of that Recon, it's kind of growing on me a little bit. I like it. But this is the first opportunity that we've had to see interior shots. So it's got, you know, kind of that squared off steering wheel, which I'm not sure why they feel like that's necessary for an EV. But yeah, I've never driven with one of those kind of steering wheels before, so I don't know what that feels like. But it is what it is. You can see that they have a transmission selector right here. And so it's on a knob as opposed to, you know, kind of your standard transmission lever. And I think this is some sort of off-road selector here. Now, I don't know if that's the sway bar disconnect switch, or if those are some sort of rear lockers, or exactly what that is. But that's kind of interesting, and you kind of see the locking center console here. You have a full digital instrument cluster and this nice multimedia screen here. And you also have, as opposed to door latches, and you know, I think you have kind of electronic latches right here for the doors. And so, yeah, we'll see how this Jeep Recon does. I think Jeep is making a move towards maybe less electrification here in the United States, but this is kind of, you know, on its way to be in full production, so it's kind of too late for them to do anything drastic with this particular drivetrain. Although I believe this is being built on the large frame platform, which is going to have options for multiple kinds of drivetrains. So I think if they really want to, they could put like a generator in this vehicle as well. So that would be really nice to see them do that, but I just don't know if they can do that initially. I don't know if they could do that quickly here really close to the end of the game. And our last news story is actually kind of timely. So we've been all following likely the drones that are over on the Northeast, so in New Jersey, where they see all the drones flying around, freaking people out. So Jeep has patented a drone system as an off-road assistant. Now this news came out at the end of November, so it's not exactly breaking news, but it's really interesting. So you have your little center console right here, and then you have your drone that's meant to launch, I guess, from that center console. So you could charge the drone from that position as well. And as it takes off, I don't know if it can launch and then go out like the window, or if it has to kind of launch and then go out like the sunroof or a convertible top or something like that, or you know, how it can get out of the vehicle. But once it's out of the vehicle, it connects to the system, so it has some sort of a link, wireless connection, and it will send data to your multimedia screen and video to your multimedia screen. And so basically it acts as a spotter, so as opposed to having a person out there telling you go left, go right, go left, you know, you can have your little camera giving you a view of the obstacles that you have in front of you and letting you, you know, choose the right line. And so, yeah, that's pretty neat. So this is the one image of it. And then here's a little bit of a better image of it, and showing where it's placed into the vehicle. And the other thing that they have it, so it not only can act as an assistant for off-road, but it can also be like a security escort. So I guess leaving the Jeep, it can follow you and make sure you're safe and stuff. So yeah, I don't know what that's about. Anyway, so this is your Jeep news for December 14th. So I hope you enjoyed those stories, and I'll see you in the next one again very soon.